Hey guys, welcome back to church. I'm Hope from Bellevue Christian Church, and today we are going to be talking about God giving us second chances. But before we talk, let's sing and dance.
I feel it in the air right now. It's all around, I see it everywhere. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. It's the power to move any star. It's the power to heal your broken heart. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. So don't hold back, no, don't hold still. 'Cause God is here and He is real. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it around and move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps back, but you better look back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now freeze. And everybody clap your hands. Now stop. I feel it in the air right now. It's all around, I see it everywhere. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. It's the power to move any star. It's the power to heal your broken heart. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. So don't hold back, no, don't hold still. God is here and He is real. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it around and move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps back, but you better look back. Let's do it all again right now. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it around and move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps back, but you better look back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now freeze. And everybody clap your hands. Now stop.
I hope you're singing and dancing. So today we are going to be talking about God giving us second chances. So we have been doing the year-long Bible journey this year. And if we have been going a long time, we're in the near the end of the Old Testament. So let's say all the Bible verses together that we have gone through. Ready? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, and today we're on Jonah. Hope you enjoy this skit that talks a little bit about what we're going to talk about today.
I can't wait. I can't believe the day has finally come. It's our big fishing trip.
I'm glad it's here. I just wish we didn't have to get up so early.
As they say, the early bird catches the worm, and I guess that means the early worm catches the fish.
There is a chance of rain today. Honey, did you pack the ponchos?
Yes, I got all 5 of them in a bag.
Great. Looks like we are ready to pack the car with all our supplies.
What if it rains a lot? Won't we get super soaked?
That's what the ponchos are for.
I'm stoked. Plus, a little rain never hurt anyone.
But what if it storms?
Yeah, what if there's lightning and thunder?
I guess we'll just have to throw you three out of the boat.
Dad, that's not funny.
Well, it's what happened to Jonah. Remember when he disobeyed God? There was a big storm, and the only way to stop it was to throw them overboard.
But we didn't disobey.
Oh, Sam and Hope, Daddy's just teasing you all. We will keep you safe.
But we do disobey sometimes.
Yes, you do. We all make mistakes. In our family, we forgive each other. You might receive consequences when you make bad choices, but Dad and I always give you a second chance to obey.
That's like Jonah too, right?
Yes, that's right, Sam. Jonah had a second chance to obey God. God is pretty amazing that way.
We better get going. Those fish may not give us a second chance to catch them.
Hope we catch a shark. I hope we catch a fish as big as the one that swallowed Jonah.
Now, that would be wild. Let's just hope it doesn't swallow us. Hey, let's roll. Last one to the car is a stinky sardine.
Hope you enjoyed that skit. Today's memory verse is, "The Lord has shown you what is good. He has told you what he requires of you. You must act with justice. You must love to show mercy, and you must be humble as you live in the sight of your God." Micaiah 6:8. So let's say it together. Ready? The Lord has shown you what is good. He has told you what he requires of you. You must act with justice, you must love to show mercy, and you must be humble as you live in the sight of your God. Micaiah 6:8. Good job. Okay, so today, have you ever seen a TV show about a giant fish? They're pretty fascinating, I guess. Maybe if you like underwater ocean things. There's one on Animal Planet called River Monsters, if you ever saw that show. A man named Jeremy Wade goes all over the world in search of a monster fish that lives in the waters, in the rivers. These humongous fish are supposedly large enough to eat a person. That's terrifying. That's like so big. Mr. Wade follows stories from people who claim to have seen these river monsters. He doesn't know if they're lying, but he listens to the people, makes a plan, and takes his fishing gear with him where he thinks he will catch the giants. Sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't. Imagine how scary that would be. Fishing can be a fun sport. Sometimes fishermen like to exaggerate their stories. They might have caught a fish about 8 inches long, but they tell the story of a much larger catch. Like they might say it's this long instead of it's actually this long. Today we are going to learn a true story from God's Word about a big fish. And since it's from the Bible, it's no exaggeration. It's actually real. Let's read about why God sent perhaps the biggest fish ever. So we're going to read Jonah 1:17. The word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed for Tarshish. He went down to Joppa, where he found a ship bound for that port. After paying the fare, he went aboard and sailed for Tarshish to flee from the Lord. Then the Lord sent a great wind on the sea, and such a violent storm arose that ship threatened to break it. All the sailors were afraid, and each cried out to its own god, and they threw the cargo into the sea to lighten the ship. But Jonah had gone below deck, where he lay down and fell into a deep sleep. The captain went to him and said, "How can you sleep? Get up and call on your God. Maybe he will take notice of us so that we will not perish." Then the sailors said to each other, "Come, let us cast lots to find out who is responsible for the calamity." They cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. So they asked him, "Tell us, who is responsible for making all this trouble for us? What kind of work do you do? Where do you come from? What is your country? From what people are you?" He answered, "I am a Hebrew. I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." This terrified them, and they asked, "What have you done?" They knew he was running away from the Lord because he had already told them so. The sea was getting rougher and rougher, so they asked him, "What should we do to you to make the sea calm down for us?" "Pick me up and throw me into the sea," he replied, "and it will become calm. I know that it's my fault that this great storm has become upon you." Instead, the men did their best to row back to land, but they could not, for the sea grew even wilder than before. Then they cried out to the Lord, "Please, Lord, please don't let us die for taking this man's life. Do not hold us accountable for killing an innocent man. For you, Lord, have done as you please." Then they took Jonah and they threw him overboard, and the raging sea grew calm. At this the men greatly feared the Lord, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord and made vows to him. Jonah's prayer. Now the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. So we are still learning about prophets in our big story. Remember, they had messages to give to people, which were straight from God. Jonah was told by God to go to Nineveh. It was a wicked city, and the people there needed to hear the word of God. They didn't believe in Jesus. But Jonah didn't want to do that. So what did he do instead? He ran away, the opposite way, toward Tarshish, and he was supposed to go to Nineveh. He bought a boat ticket, hopped on, and began to sail with a crew far away from Nineveh. He wanted to go away from God. God has a way of reminding us that we need to obey him. He reminded Jonah in a pretty major way. While on the boat, a huge storm arose up. The other men on the boat were terrified. Jonah was unaware of what was going on, as he was sleeping down under the boat. The men woke him up as they were crying out to their gods, trying to figure out what god they had made mad. They believed that an angry God was causing the storm. Jonah realized the problem was him. He knew the storm would continue to worsen if he didn't do something. The men tried to row back to shore. But Jonah told them he needed to be thrown overboard. He told the men that he needed to go in the ocean, that they had to throw him to the ocean to make the sea calm. Isn't that crazy? Are you scared of sharks or big fish? That's crazy. The crew was afraid of consequences that they may get for throwing an innocent man off the boat, but they tossed him anyways. As soon as Jonah was gone, the storm stopped. Something crazy happened next. God sent a ginormous, bigger than my arms, ginormous fish. Think of the size of a whale, even bigger, through the waters that swallowed Jonah. That's one major river monster. This did not cause Jonah to die. It caused him to think and pray and think some more and pray some more. God was about to give Jonah a second chance. I believe if I was swallowed up by a big fish, I would do some praying too. The rest of the book of Jonah tells of him being sorry and praying for 3 days in the belly of the fish. And then something even crazier happened. Do you know what happened? The big fish spit Jonah out right onto the beach. Could you imagine the smell? Yuck. But I bet Jonah didn't care. He must have been thrilled to be alive. Think of you in the mouth of a whale. You think you're gonna die. You think the whale's gonna swallow you. And then all of a sudden, he spits you out and you're on a beach. That would be crazy. He took the second chance and ran with it all the way to Nineveh. He preached God's message to the people there, and they repented. They turned away from their sin and started seeking God, the one true God. What if Jonah hadn't obeyed God's instructions again? Maybe all those people would never have to come to know God. They wouldn't go to heaven. But because Jonah went overboard, God gave him a second chance. They all got to go to heaven if they believed in God, which he brought them to. Hopefully it doesn't take an angry storm and a giant fish to get our attention from God. But he does remind us to obey him in other ways. When we make a choice that we know isn't right, often we feel bad about it, guilty. It might make us have an anxious feeling that won't go away, like butterflies in your stomach, or like throw up, maybe. Like you're sick to your stomach because you know you do something bad. We can choose to turn that bad choice around and make the right one. God gives us a second and third chances, and even more to choose to follow his plan for us. Isn't that so exciting? Even if you fail the first time, you don't get to know Jesus. You have another chance. People can help you down the way. That's just amazing to me. I hope you enjoyed the lesson this week. And I hope you learned that you cannot run away from God. Even when we try to disobey God, he is going to give us a second chance and another chance after that. So see you guys next week. Hope you learned something. Bye.